Hey everybody, my name is Troy, this is Billy, and today I've got a very super exciting video for you guys. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 most anticipated scenes to see in the graphic novel. If you didn't know, Shannon is releasing a graphic novel this November, and is going to be the first out of 2 parts of the graphic novel that are going to be taking place of the events of the first book, Keeper of the Lost Cities. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 scenes that I'm really looking forward to and why. I didn't split the first book into 2 parts when I was like making my list because I don't know when the split is going to be, but I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, it always means a lot, and I hope that you can comment your top 10 or even top 5 most anticipated scenes as well. Let's get into this. Alrighty guys, at number 10, we have got the San Diego Stalker. I think a really fun part of the first book is when we first meet Fitz. It's such a very important moment, and it's just really shocking for Sophie, who's been living with her powers for like 5 years or so. Actually, probably closer to 7 if she got her powers when she was 5 and in the book she was 12. She thought she was alone in her powers for so long, so meeting someone who also had telepathy powers was so important for her. And Fitz did come off as very predatory, right? I really want to see kind of like that fear that Fitz invoked in her, because that got her running out of the museum and into the street right in front of a car. I think that'll be really fun to see in a visual format. And also with the lamppost tipping down and Sophie using her telekinesis, I thought that was such a cool moment, and I would love to see that, like I said. Coming in at number 9, we've got Back the T-Rex Up. I'm so excited to see the sanctuary in Havenfield. I'm so excited to see all the animals like the Vermilion, Verdi, Gildy, Iggy, all of these amazing animals, and hopefully they'll add in even more. I'm so excited to see Havenfield itself, as well as Grady and Edeline. Like, that's Sophie's home. And I know we've gotten like a few images from Shannon's artist about Havenfield, but I'm so excited to like see more of the inside of Havenfield. Like, isn't that so crazy that we're gonna be able to really take even a deeper delve into the world that having that picture. Next up, we have got Sophie's Tribunal, which happens at the end of the book. This is a very emotional moment for me. This was one of the scenes that made me tear up as a reader, and there wasn't too many scenes in the series that did make me feel emotional. But Sophie choosing her family, choosing Grady and Edeline, even after they made a very big mistake that left Sophie with a lot of scars, a lot of trauma, I think it was very important that she did choose to live at Havenfield, and that Grady and Edeline were still open to allowing Sophie in, even though they were struggling with their own grief and trauma from Jolie's death. Also, it's so interesting to see all of her teachers at Foxfire step up for her. Like, her community is there to support her, even though within the future books there's a lot of unrest that Sophie causes. Like, they're there for her, and it's just a very uplifting and hopeful moment, and it's gonna make me emotional. Next up, one of my favorite scenes from this book that I'm excited to see in visual format is the Splotching Match. I think the idea of the brain push as like a skill, as like an ancient skill that Sophie has, is not being utilized enough throughout the rest of the series, but it's a cool little tidbit that I think is just like a fun activity. Like, I wish we had stuff like that when I go to gym class, you know, like we could like shove like balls of paint towards each other with our minds. Like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that cool? Paint fits pink, and I love that scene. It was a great scene, and I'm excited to see it. I feel like some of you are gonna be mad about this next one, but my number 6 is the Sokeefe Meet-Cute. If you're not familiar with that term, the term meet-cute just basically means when romantic interests meet each other for the first time. And that's gonna be such a fun moment because Sophie burns Lady Galvin's cape, right, her prized possession. She's sent to the healing center where Keith is waiting for her. You must be lost, and they have that iconic interaction. Like, it's gonna be so cool to see that. Like I said, I think some of you will be disappointed that I'm not putting this as high, but I think it's gonna be great just to see like the expression on both of their faces when they meet for the first time. I'm really excited, especially to see Sophie blushing. Number 5, we have got the Catching Everblaze scene, when Sophie gets some clues from the Black Swan to bottle some of the Everblaze so that she can show the council that the elves are involved in the arson. This scene was one of the most actionable scenes in the book. It was intense, it was scary even for me as a reader. Being nervous about Sophie being in the fire, I am terrified of the idea of being engulfed in flame like that. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see that illustrated, because it's hard to picture someone going into a fire on a magical Flareodon. Like, I don't even know what that looks like in my mind. Okay, this is my number 4, and honestly, I think it probably should be higher, but I'm gonna stay with it. Number 4 is Bald Stina. Bald Stina is iconic, and I cannot wait to see that on the pages of this book. And if it, for any reason, gets cut out, I will sue Shannon, because it needs to happen. I want to see Slurps and Burps. This is our first time meeting Dex, so it's a really important meeting. And just seeing Stina storm in with her bald head, it's gonna be iconic. It's gonna be so good, and I can't wait for the little prank wars between Dex and Stina. Coming in at number 3 is the first day at Foxfire. Foxfire has always been so magical for me. I always see it kind of like I do Hogwarts. It has that grandiosity, it has just magical feeling to it, and I really feel like the artist will hopefully portray it in a very homey way so that us as the reader can feel connected to the story. That's something that I probably will get upset about if Foxfire doesn't look super great in the art. Foxfire is such an immersive space and an immersive setting with all the different prodigies, with all the different hallways and classrooms, and I really want to be able to picture that in my mind, and I hope that the artist can really bring that to life. In number 2, we have got Sophie's first visit to Atlantis. Again, this is a scene that I really want to see visualized. I want to see how other people will kind of interpret that world, because we haven't gotten a lot of art from Atlantis. I mean, we do have the Nightfall cover, which is beautiful, but we can't really see how like the city looks, and I want to see that whirlpool tunnel and how to get down when they fall in the sponge. I want to see those critters that are like crawling the streets, and I want to see like that busy kind of street life, because that's how I imagine Atlantis in my head. It's like a very busy like downtown area, and I just know it's gonna be so immersive and so beautiful. And I always like love aquatic things. Like for me, like if I were to have an ability in the series, it would be hydrokinesis. At least that's what I would want. And so I just love watery things like that, and so I think Atlantis would be beautiful, and I want to see it so bad. The only thing that I want to see more than Atlantis, my number 1 most anticipated scene, is the Paris Promenade. That's a fancy word for just like walk, leisurely walk, because for Sophie and Dex just being kidnapped, they do not feel very urgent like in getting out of there. They're like, let's go to this little shop, have some lunch, get on the computer, do some research. Like, no, you have people chasing after you, like get out. But no, I'm really excited to see this scene, because that escape from their kidnappers, the fight scene, it's gonna be so amazing. I can't wait for it. There's gonna be so much drama at the end of the book, but this won't come until the Keeper second part. But I'm gonna be really anticipating the Keeper second part, because there's just so much action in that second half of the book. Part of me thinks that maybe part 1 will end after Sophie catches the Everblaze, because that's like a big moment. Then there's a little gap, and then there's like the kidnapping, so maybe it'll just cut off after the Everblaze, and then there'll be like the whole kidnapping and the escape, because that's gonna have to take up so many pages, you know what I mean? But that was my top 10 most anticipated scenes from the upcoming Keeper Lost Cities graphic novel, November something 2023. If you did enjoy this video, please do be sure to leave a like. That would really mean a lot to me. Subscribe. You guys are awesome. We hit 15,000 subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me. Comment your most anticipated scenes. Were there any that you like strongly agree, like I want to see this? Were there any that you didn't think about? And what's some new scenes that I didn't talk about that you're excited for? Make sure to go check out the link in the description for a 30-day free trial on Audible, which you can cancel anytime. You can read it KotLC on audiobook. That would be fun, so make sure to go check that out. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Me and Billy love you so much. Have an amazing week, and I will catch you guys later. Love you. Bye.